beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. It's time for Braves baseball. We're under the big top here at Tropicana Field, where a nice crowd is filing in for our last visit with the Tampa Bay Rays. Braves fell 2-0 last night. They'll try to head home with a win tonight behind young right-hander Matt Wisler. Hi again, friends. Joe and Chip, welcome to the ballpark. Jen Hildreth will be along in just a few moments. Atlanta wasted a great pitching performance from Williams Perez last night. He threw a complete game, but lost on a Kevin Kiermaier two-run home run. Atlanta would be very happy if Matt Wisler could pitch as well as Perez did tonight, because lately Matt's been struggling. Yeah, that would mean he's turned it around a little bit. His last two starts, Chip, have been anything but Matt Wisler-like, at least when you compare it to what we saw at the beginning of the season. Matt's got good stuff. He's got 4 pitches, and he's certainly not shy about the way he's pitched here in the big leagues. He's been aggressive. But his last 2 starts, 17 hits, including 3 homers over his last 10 innings pitched. These are his season numbers for the year, and he's still got a 5-2 record. Not too shabby. He'll try to add win number 6 tonight. But he's got a tough opponent, especially in this ballpark. Jake Odorizzi is a mainstay for the playoff hopeful Rays, who start play tonight, just 3.5 games out of a wild card. And the Braves have seen Odorizzi this year. They beat him only 2-1 in Atlanta. He pitched a good ball game, went 6 innings at Turner Field, then went on the disabled list with a strained left oblique. But he's come back his last 6 starts, pitching good baseball. He's got an outstanding changeup, as you see right here, and he's been very good at home. He has the 3rd best home ERA in the American League. Runs have been tough to come by for the Braves, as you know, but hopefully reinforcements are coming soon. And when we come back, Jen Hildreth will get us an update on what's up with Freddie Freeman and Hector Oliveira. Those 2 Braves hitters are working out in Orlando. We'll update that and get you to first pitch and starting lineups from the Trop right after a break.
By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
The Braves and Rays meet tonight for the 4th and final time this season. Braves looking for a win and the series split. Hey everybody, I'm Jen Hildreth, and just about an hour ago, the Braves received some good news about their injured first baseman. Here is what General Manager John Hart had to say about Freddie Freeman.
We're going to activate Freddie, actually start his rehab tomorrow. I mean, he's been doing very well down here. We're going to actually play him tomorrow in the Gulf Coast League, five innings, and we'll progress him there. He's eligible to come off on the 19th, and right now he's made really good progress. So we're going to get him in rehab games from starting tomorrow right up through the 18th and see where it goes.
So Freeman progressing well with that strained right oblique. That's good news. John Hart also told us that Hector Olivera, the recently acquired infielder from the Dodgers, will also start play in the Gulf Coast League tomorrow. He was here yesterday. He had played with Adonis Garcia in Cuba, so those two were catching up. Freddie Gonzalez said it was his first time getting to see Olivera quite a while. He's a pretty imposing figure, fellas. So those two, Olivera and Freeman, could be back pretty soon, definitely before the end of the month. At least that's the way it's looking now. Tonight, though, the Braves trying to snap a 5-game losing streak to the American League. First pitch coming up after the break.
With $1,800 in free equipment, including an exterior camera and touchscreen door lock. Please visit cpisecurity.com. Hot, muggy day outside, but cool as a cucumber inside Tropicana Field here in St. Pete. Final game of this series between the Braves and the Rays. Atlanta was shut out last night 2-0 by the Tampa Bay Ball Club. 11th time this year, Freddie Gonzalez's offense failed to score. Hopefully that won't happen tonight as Michael Bourne leads the attack. He bats first on the Academy Sports and Outdoors starting 9. A night off for Andrelton Simmons. That means Pedro Siriaco will be the shortstop. Nick Swisher's the DH. And back in right field is Nick Markakis. He who's had a lot of luck hitting against the Rays in this ballpark, and he needs some luck against a man as talented as Jake Odorizzi.
And he's had some luck against Jake Odorizzi as well. Odorizzi, home and road, 3-2, a 1.40 ERA here at home. That's the third best ERA at home in the American League. 6-6 overall with an outstanding ERA of 2.77. Sounds a little bit like Shelby Miller. Very low run support. 90-93 on his fastball with a good cutter. An outstanding changeup. Mixes in a slider and a curve as well. He's 25 years old, 6'2", 190, out of Highland, Illinois. He was a #1 pick by the Brewers back in 08.
The Tampa Bay defense set the tone in the first inning last night. Remember, they threw out Cameron Maybin on a play at the plate. A perfect relay was executed by the Tampa Bay Ball Club. That's the Braves defense. But we'll show you that now, even though Atlanta's up here in the top of the first inning.
Well, it'll be a real good defensive group.
Yes, very good. And of course brought to you by our friends at CPI Security. Michael Bourne leads things off. Boy, Michael's been swinging in tough luck. 1 for 10 since coming back to the Braves. But as you and Freddie Gonzalez have said, he's squaring up everything right now. And a line drive to short. Cabrera's got it, and that's how the game begins. Bourne squares up another one and takes a left turn. He's 1 for 11 as a Brave, 1 out.
He's getting a little bit of a complex, I think. Hitting the ball that hard as often as he has.
Here's Cameron Maybin. Maybin at 269, 8 homers, 48 knocked in. After an extended drought below 200, Cameron's bat is starting to come to life. He's hitting 279 over the last week. And that caught a corner. 0-2. Odorizzi really had to learn on the job last year for the Rays. He led all American League rookies in strikeouts and losses. Tampa Bay was shut out in 6 of his starts last year. So he knows how to pitch in tight ball games, and as Joe mentioned, he's pitched in a lot of close games in his home park. And has been very effective here at the Trop.
And he's been coveted by several teams because he's been involved in some big trades.
To second, Logan Forsythe was positioned perfectly, 2 out. So the CPI security defense for the Tampa Bay Rays. Daniel Nava's the man that made the excellent relay throw last night. Casale's back behind the plate. Evan Longoria took a shot off the bat of Anderson Simmons at third base last night. He's in the lineup again. Loney catches everything at first. Kiermaier, an excellent speedster in center. Nick Markakis, 2 hits last night and has hit in 18 of 20 games. Nick's average at .302 for the year and has knocked in 42 runs.
He won't use that curveball much, but it is a good one.
Fouled away, still 0-2. Pretty amazing the Rays are where they are without Matt Moore, who's coming back from Tommy John surgery and is down in the minor leagues, and without Alex Cobb, who's also suffered a Tommy John injury and surgery. Yet here they are, a game over 500 and 2.5 out of the wild card.
And Smiley too.
Smiley's hurt too, but on his way back. He's pitching in Durham. And could be back on their upcoming road trip. 1-2 pitch. Here's a ground ball to Forsythe. Odorizzi has an easy time of it. A line out, 2 ground outs, and a perfect top of the first. to turn things around for the Braves. Look at what he's done home and road.
3-0 at home. Road ERA's inching up towards 6 with a very high batting average against him. He's 5-2 on the year, 4.85 ERA. This will be his first appearance against the Tampa Bay Rays. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. This kind of dwells on his last 2 outings. The home run ball. He's given up 3 in his last 10 innings, and he's given up 7 overall in his first 9 starts. Try to keep the ball in the ballpark tonight. And 1, 2, 3 innings. He needs a bunch of those tonight. In his last 2 starts, 10 innings total pitched, only 3 perfect 1, 2, 3 innings. He's been in the stretch a lot.
And John Jaso, the designated hitter, leads off. Jaso at .316 for the year, and he smacks the first pitch toward the gap in left center field. That'll bounce off the fence. And Jaso on his way to second. He'll slam on the brakes. He's now going to try for third. Ball trickles away, and Jaso's tagged out. Siriaco picked up the loose ball, and he dived and tagged out Jaso, who makes the first out at third base. Thank you very much.
What a dummy. He just lit off the game, got the team fired up. He's got a double, and then he runs right into a tag. Thank you. Like you said, fastball down the middle, belt high. One hopped the wall. The relay was a little high over the head of Jace Peterson. There was Siriaco to pick it up and let him run right to him.
It's doubled. He's out 8-6, and here's Grady Sizemore. And that missed outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the tag.
Was a good swing, though.
Popped back toward us on play. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
You know, it cracks me up. They probably went over all kinds of graphs and hitting sabermetrics and everything else about first pitch fastballs from Matt Whistler. They just didn't factor in the base running saber metric.
Maben always throws high to the relay man on that ball in the gap. As this one's popped foul again. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You can't quantify goofy.
So Whistler got a break. Let's see if he can take advantage of it with Grady Sizemore up there. He's hitting .224. 5 homers with the Rays. And downstairs evens the count. You have to admire Grady Sizemore that he's still working to try to come back from season after season of serious injury problems. As he swings and misses, for fans who've only seen him the last year or so, if you had seen him 5-6 years ago, you would have said this guy's maybe on a Hall of Fame career track.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got some numbers for you. We'll show a little bit later on him. But, you know, a 3-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove winner, Silver Slugger Award winner. For about a 5-year stretch, he averaged over 100 runs a game. He's got Longoria batting behind him tonight. There's the lineup, same as last night for the Rays. And the thing that I said to you before the game started was how hard it must be for a guy like Grady Sizemore, who knows inside what kind of player he was, to be forced, because of injuries, to play at a level much less than what he was used to.
Ground ball towards second, sharply hit, but Peterson's got it. The Rays made the first out at third base, and Whistler did indeed take advantage of it. We head to the second inning, no score.
caught it! What a catch by Gann! And the 1-2 pitch. He did it! And the fireworks go off. A strikeout, and Greg Maddux really pitched a beauty here this evening. Driven along the line and left, back toward the wall. It is a home run! It's a home run! Gann just homered off the top of the wall! The Braves win! Ron Gann has done it again!
Well, friends, 4 years ago, we lost our godfather, as it were. That the very brief highlight reel of the great Ernie Johnson Sr., who really got Braves baseball on the air in Atlanta, Georgia. And a base hit to right for A.J. Przinsky, beats the shift. And that's the first Atlanta hit of the ball game. I wouldn't dare presume to speak for you, but not a day goes by when I walk into that press box and I don't think about Ernie Johnson and his contributions, what he meant to me personally, to our family, and to what he's meant to our business.
Yeah, to all of us. And I know how important he was to your dad and Pete, too. And what a mentor to all of us. We miss him every day. August is a rough month.
It is a rough month for all of us. As Garcia pokes one foul and out of play, the pride of Brattleboro, Vermont. And I hope his lovely bride Lois is watching the game tonight. Ernie Jr. and his family and the grandkids. And you know, Ernie Sr. would be thrilled beyond belief with that great grandbaby that the Johnson family recently welcomed. So Lois, Ernie, we're thinking of you all tonight and miss Ernie dearly. I forgot to say the twirlers for the game tonight are Matt Whistler and Jake Odorizzi. Downstairs for Adonis Garcia. 2 balls and a strike. Garcia had a couple of hits last night. Boy, the more you see him, the more you like what he does. He catches everything at third base and he squares up the ball.
Came here with no fanfare. Nobody knew anything about him in the Braves organization.
And that ball's hit toward right. That's going to get down in front of Nava. Big hop off the turf. AJ's going to go to third. And the throw comes through. And AJ's safely in at third base, standing up. So third hit for Garcia in the series. And now it's the Braves in business with men at the corners and nobody out.
Obviously, the scouts and executives knew something about Adonis Garcia, or they wouldn't have signed him after the Yankees let him go. But my point is, none of us outside of those scouts knew much about Adonis Garcia, and he has been a real pleasant surprise.
So a great chance for the Braves to score their first run of the series. Jace Peterson's a hot hitter. Jace has knocked in 48 runs. Strike one. When we last saw Odorizzi in Atlanta, it was said to us that he is an extreme fly ball pitcher. I think he had only 1 double play ball, and that was into mid-May. That's changed a little bit, we understand. Alex Cobb has taught him a change-up split-fingered pitch.
Right.
So he's getting the ball on the ground a little more frequently for the Rays, and that's what he's looking for in this spot, or a strikeout.
Well located fastball up out of the zone there, the last 2 pitches. We'll try it again.
Missed too high, though. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Great numbers for Jace Peterson in this situation, as you see. Of course, he doesn't hit a homer unless there's at least 2 people on base, so good timing for that too.
Hit one into the Ray tank. 1-2 pitch.
He is way high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. AJ singled. Garcia singled. Atlanta has him first and third. Nobody out in the second.
Odorizzi pitched a really good ball game his last time out against the Mets. He got no decision, but he pitched into the 7th inning and gave up only 4 hits and 1 run.
When Walcott thought it was outside, and now the count's full.
Casale, a little word with Quinn Walcott after that.
And the pitch spoiled over the screen. We'll do it again, full count.
See, he'll throw that changeup in just about any count. And that was well located, down and away.
Struck him out. First strikeout for Odorizzi. The double play in order for him now. And there's the first out.
Got it above his hands just enough.
Like Michael Bourne, Nick Swisher's found the early going a little tough at the plate. He too is 1 for 10 as a Braves hitter. He has, though, knocked in a couple of runs. Nick, the designated hitter tonight. And Casale, a nice stop. 1 ball, no strikes.
And you saw with that wide shot that they have a shift on for him too. Only 1 infielder on the left side.
And Joe, as you pointed out last night, get used to that when you play the Rays. Over 1,400 defensive shifts this year. The Braves, about 125 of them. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's that change. So he's thrown it with 2 strikes. He just threw it 1-1. Will he double up to Swisher here?
This fastball keeps you honest, and he will cut it, keep it in on you if you're a left-handed hitter. And then if he's locating that changeup away like he did to Jason just now to Swisher, he's tough. The Braves have scored fewer runs than anybody in baseball since the All-Star break. Only 74 runs total as a team. These are the situations that they've got to capitalize on from here to the end of the season.
And these are the situations that they converted so successfully the first 2 months. 2 balls, 2 strikes, first and third, 1 out. Garcia's running. The pitch is skied out of play, foul. And he'll head back to first.
It will seem odd, but if he pulls the ball on the ground to Forsythe, who's plugging up the hole on the right side, he'll still go 4-6-3. The attempt will be, but Asdrubal Cabrera will have to run over as if he's playing second to take that throw from Forsythe.
Now Nick has a full count. Joey Tadaslovich playing first base tonight is the 8th place hitter. He's next. Garcia leads, doesn't go, and a swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts. And they're at first and third with 2 outs.
That was a changeup, but it wasn't a very good one, and I think it was ball 4. Yeah, no question.
So it's up to Joey T if the Braves are to cash in an early scoring chance tonight. It's been a long inning for Odorizzi. He's made 20 pitches so far. But 2 big swinging strikeouts of Jace Peterson and Nick Swisher. Fly ball left. Sizemore back. It's over his head. A run is in. Here comes Garcia to third. He'll be stopped. And on the first pitch, Joey Turdoslavich rescues the Braves with a 2-out double. It's 1-0 Atlanta.
That is huge. Second inning huge. After 2 strikeouts to jump on the first pitch, just when it looked like he might get out of the inning. I said he didn't throw many curveballs. He wishes he'd not thrown that one. A low rocket over the head of Sizemore.
Second double, 4th RBI for Turdoslavich, and the Braves finally have a run in the series and have a chance for 2 more with Pedro Ciriaco in the box. Ciriaco starting for the 6th time at shortstop tonight. Freddie Gonzalez giving Anderson Simmons a night off. And that missed inside, ball 1. And now foul at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Got his foot.
The bulk of Ciriaco's good work has been as a pinch hitter for the Braves. 9 hits and 29 bats. So a start for him tonight. And now he's down to his last strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes, you count. Atlanta has 1 big 2-out hit. They'd love another from Ciriaco. Line drive right field. That's going to get down for a hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Turdoslavich. Throws cut off. Loney throws to second in time. That ends the inning, but both runs count. And the Braves get 2 big 2-out hits and have scored 3 times in the top of the 2nd inning. Excellent start. Nice lead for Matt Whistler. It's 3-0 Braves in St. Pete.
And a lot of the credit there has to go to Joey Turdosovich, who came up big. 2 outs. He had the double to score the first run. And in talking to Joey before the game, this is a bit of a homecoming. He's from Sarasota. He said this is really his first time getting to come back home and play. He said there are a ton of friends and family in the stands. And you know they had to love the way he started this one off.
Absolutely, Jen. And it couldn't have come at a better time with the Braves struggling to score runs. He gets a big double on the first pitch, and then Siriaco did what he does so well, and that's just make sure he puts the ball in play and dump one into right. So a little breathing room for Matt Whistler.
Early runs are always appreciated by a young starting pitcher. And now Whistler has the 4, 5, and 6 hitters coming up. And the inning begins with their first baseman, James Loney, who's hitless in his last 10 tries up there. And that takes care of that. A hit the other way.
Keep running, James.
He got the memo.
Oh. Okay.
But you know, it's interesting that it's Loney that got the first hit. Because if there's a spot on the lineup card that's been problematic for Matt Whistler, it's the guy hitting fourth.
Yeah, and it's not just James Loney. It's every cleanup hitter.
Opposing number 4 hitters now with 13 hits and 24 at bats against Matt Whistler. Here's Logan Forsythe. And he takes under the hands high. 1 ball, no strikes.
That's a tough spot to have a problem.
Blocked by Brzezinski. 2 balls and a strike. Forsythe having a fantastic year for the Rays. Good average, good power, drives in big runs, gets on base. A former Padre. Hits one to straightaway center, but playable for Maben if he can find it. Yeah, he did. Loney thought about tagging, but he'll retreat. And a deep fly to center is the first out. Looked for a minute like Maben lost that ball.
It's the only spot in the ballpark that you can get away with that, and you can see Cameron's reaction there. He wasn't quite sure where it was. Easy to lose it in the ceiling.
And now as Drupal Cabrera bats, he's knocked in 28 runs. He's hit 7 out of the park and is batting .256. And Matt gets ahead with a slider for a strike. Popped up. That one up around the catwalk. And Turdosovich overran it. Welcome to the Trop. No play.
That one up there in those cables, like you might see when you're watching a circus act with trapeze artists.
Sure.
And it might have hit something and redirected it.
There are 4 rings of catwalks here if you missed it last night, which for a visiting club, especially in the case of the Braves, makes playing in this place even more treacherous than just the off-white roof, which mimics the color of the baseball. It's really the first batted ball that's flirted with any kind of catwalk issue in this brief series. And upstairs, Jen, you talked to Joey T about the catwalks, we understand.
Yeah, it was funny. He said he asked Johnny Gomes about it because Johnny played here for so many years. And he said, you know, after you have like a 10-game homestand here, how good does it feel to go on the road? And Johnny said it was unbelievable because it is tough. And Joey said that they take extra fly balls in batting practice trying to get ready for that and watch the ball, but it's tough.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Johnny, as you know, came up a Ray. And I'll bet you didn't know that Johnny Gomes is the all-time catwalk home run hitter. He hit 8 while with the Rays and added 1 with the Reds, so grand total of 9 catwalk home runs for Johnny Gomes. Full count pitch. Runner goes, and that stroke to the right field a hit. Loney is stopped at second base. He picked up his third base coach, thought about heading to third, but that hasn't worked out so well for Tampa Bay in the early innings, but they've got trouble afoot here in the second.
No, but Nick Markakis was ready to concede him third base. His throw was coming into second. So that's one where they might have been able to go.
So the hottest hitter for the Rays is our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
Best in baseball since July 28th. 478 average. And his foul ball was the one that hit the catwalk, kept him alive.
Here's Daniel Nava. Interesting note on Nava. He was actually Kevin Cash's teammate while with the Red Sox. And now Kevin Cash, the youngest manager in the big leagues, is at the top of the dugout step, and Nava now one of his charges in playing right field. There's a good fastball. These are hoping to add a little more offensive thump. Desmond Jennings, who's been out with a bad knee, is expected to come off the DL when they open their series with the Rangers Friday. And all offensive help accepted for the Rays. First and second. We're in the second. Danger, danger. 3 balls and a strike.
Need a ground ball. Need to trust your stuff. Just because it was 3-2 to Cabrera doesn't mean it should be automatic fastball. Trust your stuff. Changeup, breaking ball. You've got to pitch that way at this level, just as Odorizzi did when he was in trouble in the top half of the inning.
He missed, and outside was that pitch. Nava walks to first, and the bases are loaded for Kevin Kiermaier.
PNC Bank shows you that that wasn't anywhere near. And again, the 1-2-3 innings. He got some help from the base running blunder by Jaso in the first for only facing 3 hitters. But this is where Matt Whistler has been the last 2 starts. Out of the stretch.
Kiermaier was the villain last night. He hit a changeup out for a 2-run homer. His 5th home run of the year. Strike 1. Kiermaier loves to swing the bat. A very fast base runner, but with a .276 on base percentage. He's walked only 14 times in 360 at bats.
Boy, good numbers with him loaded too.
A little tapper off Whistler's glove. It trickles away. He'll settle for one out. And a run is in. Loney scores to make it 3-1. Cabrera to third. Nava to second. Loney scores. And here's Kurt Casale, the catcher.
He did the right thing. If he picks that ball up thinking he still had a play at the plate and didn't, by the time he then turned to first with Kiermaier running, he might not have gotten anybody.
Casale couldn't check his swing.
I thought he went.
That's the kind of break you get when you're in a 1-for-23 slide, and that's what the Tampa catcher is in right now.
Quinn Walcott, I think, hearing it from the Braves dugout on that one.
That caught a corner. Now it's a ball and 2 strikes.
Nice stop by AJ. This is the guy you want. You got a base open, but the next guy's a hotter hitter. You just mentioned Casale's struggles lately. You got to want him to put the ball in play at the risk of him getting a base hit and tying it up, rather than load him up for Jaso.
Here comes the full count pitch, and it's launched toward left. Bourne at the wall, and with his back up against the wall, had just enough room.
That just missed the catwalk too, which would have been an automatic homer.
Casale just missed a 3-run homer, and Whistler lives to tell the tale. It's 3-1 Atlanta.
I used to do the St. Louis Cardinals baseball games. You know, they had a large radio network, and there was no TV then. And Every night, exactly at 8:30 p.m., I would say goodnight, Skip. And Skip would turn off the radio and go on to bed. And I can honestly say that's the only time in our many years of father and son that they ever listened to what I told them.
And I guarantee you that's the last time Dad ever went to bed at 8:30. That was a true story. Thanks to our crew for digging that up. Today would have been Dad's 76th birthday, believe it or not. Dad always told the story when he was at Webster Groves High School in St. Louis. And his father was doing the Cardinals games. All the other kids on the other teams knew that he was Harry Carey's kid and all that stuff. And he said he lined up against his defensive tackle for Kirkwood High School, their arch rival. And just before the third down play said, "Good night, Skip." Proceeded to just run him over and sack the quarterback. So here we go to the Atlanta third. 3-1 Braves now with Michael Bourne up there. And that's up and away from Jake Odorizzi. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Take me into the mind of a hitter like Michael Bourne. You've traded teams. You want to make a good impression. You're very comfortable with most of the people that you're around because you've been there before. But get off to a start like he is where you're hitting the ball well and nothing show for it.
That's frustrating. I don't care where you're playing or for whom. But the comfort level for him is that he knows that these people here know him and know what he's capable of. They also know that he also knows there's good baseball people who have noticed that he's hitting the ball right on the screws and he's not getting anything to show for it. But results are what he wants, and it's frustrating, as I said, no matter where you are. Now for Nick Swisher, he's on a new club where nobody, I mean, he might have a few common old teammates, but nobody's seen him play that much, especially in the National League. He made a great first impression in Atlanta at Turner Field, and now the comfort level sets in where you want to get some hits and produce for your new team. I don't think Michael's putting any more pressure on himself right now than he normally does.
He hits in front of Cameron Maybin, who's on deck. And a full count pitch is cut on a miss. There's that changeup. And Odorizzi has his 3rd strikeout. After a long battle, Bourne is subdued, out number 1.
And Michael was mad at himself. Thought he was trying to pull that ball, and of course you can't do that when it's dying away from you.
I'd assume that tells you how good his changeup is. You know it's coming, and you still can't stop yourself from swinging.
Tough to read it. Good delivery on it.
Maybin jumps on the first pitch and drives it toward Nava in right. Still going back, and he couldn't handle it at the wall. Maybin on his way to second will slide in safely, and we'll see how that's scored. Hard hit ball to right. Nava appeared to have it, but dropped it as he made contact with the right field fence. It's a double.
And it's only a double because Maybin was running hard. You saw how Nava, how quickly he recovered. But if for some reason Maybin is in his trot, this doesn't work.
So let's see if the Braves can get that Rays run right back here. Nick Markakis bats. He bounced out to second. And that's in for a strike. Nick's been working a magic wand. Hits in 18 of 20 games. and 8 multi-hit games in the last 14. That one popped right off his knuckles, and it's to first. Loney lets it drop. Odorizzi came over, tried to apply the tag, and Markakis ran through the bag and is safe. Now it's the Rays' turn to mess up on a pop-up on the right side of the infield. This one a fair ball, and Markakis with a blue pit, and Kevin Cash may want to come out and argue the call.
What happened here? Why didn't somebody catch it? I mean, Loney was coming in. It looked like he saw it. You could see that it was about to drop in no man's land, and then he was off to the races. Well, it had a little bite on it, too. Came right back to Odorizzi. If he tagged him, it was too late. They're going to check it. Or are they?
Well, they were checking on Odorizzi, who came to a sliding stop after he tried to apply the tag at first. And apparently there'll be no review of the play.
He was on the disabled list again not too long ago for a strained left oblique, so they want to make sure he's okay. That was a weird one. I have to assume that Loney lost it in the ring of lights right above the third baseline.
2 on, 1 out. Shift on for AJ, who singled to right his first time up and scored the first Braves run. Little roller toward first. Loney to second for 1. The return to first is short hopped and grabbed by Odorizzi. He doesn't get many double play balls, but a big one there gets him out of a gigantic third inning mess. No runs, 2 hits. A man left. Top of the order up for the Rays in the bottom of the third inning. It's still 3-1 Atlanta.
Double play turned by Cabrera because Loney fields this ball and you want to get the feed to the right field side of the bag and stay out of the way of the runner, but the throw pulled him right into the path of Nick Markakis, and Cabrera did a great job of adjusting. Even though he threw low, he got rid of it quickly to get the double play.
And so Whistler goes to work in the third inning with John Jaso up there. Jaso hit the first pitch he saw into the gap in left center, tried to stretch a double into a triple, and was thrown out. And had a good pass at that pitch, but fouled it away. 0-2. Jaso missed a lot of time with injury this year. He's on the 60-day DL for a while. But is arguably the best leadoff man in baseball as far as average on base percentage is concerned. And Tampa Bay will take offense any way they can find it. This is not a high octane offensive club. Did he go? No swing. And the count is 1-2. Whistler's allowed 4 base runners in his first 2 innings of work tonight. A run on 3 Rays hits. Jaso's 31 out of Chula Vista, California. And he's going to ground into the shift. And there's the first out. Always fun to look at a young pitcher's splits as he moves his way through a batting order a second and third time.
Yeah, and the second time things elevate a little bit. So we're at the top of the order again for the Rays, and that second time through the order, third time through the order have been problematic. He got through the first unscathed. That has been a problem for him with a .314 average and 7 runs in 9 innings of first inning starts, I should say. But he could certainly use more 1, 2, 3 innings.
First time he's retired the leadoff man in tonight's game. And Grady Sizemore the batter. And pulled foul. It really is a shame the severity of the injuries that Grady Sizemore's had. We're not talking about hamstrings or pulled groins. No. We're talking about really serious stuff.
Well, listen to this. Between 2005 and 2009, those years with Cleveland, he averaged .274 average, 25 homers, 78 RBIs, 26 stolen bases, and 107 runs scored. He led the league in runs scored in 2006 with 134. Also had 53 doubles that year. This guy was a premier player in all of baseball and a leadoff man at that.
In the air to center. That'll drop in front of Maben. Tricky spin off the turf. And Sizemore has a 1-out hit.
Beginning in 2009. In September that year, he had surgery for a knee and abdominal strain. 2010, the left knee problems continued. He only played in 33 games. He had micro knee surgery in June. 2011, 71 games played. He was on the DL 3 times with a right knee and sports hernia injury. He missed all of 2012 with lower back surgery. He hurt himself working out, getting ready for the season. Blew out a disc and missed all of 2013 when he had microsurgery on his right knee. So at that point, there are a lot of people who said, you know what, that's enough of that.
Not this guy.
Not him.
This is Evan Longoria, man at first, 1 out. Longoria's got power. Be careful with him with a 2-run lead. And good pitch had him full. How old is Grady Sizemore now?
One second, sir. He is 33.
33.
But he basically lost 4 seasons. And he hasn't come close to returning to anywhere near that level that I talked about in those averages. And that's what I was talking about his first time up, that how hard it must be on a guy to know that what he was capable of and what he's capable of now and what his limits are. He was a terrific player.
Well, if there's an organization that will take a flyer on a player like Grady Sizemore, it would be the Rays. Years ago, there was a book written by Jonah Carey that talked about the Wall Street principles that the ownership here has brought to their evaluation of players. Yes, it was the 2% effect. As Longoria chased and missed, he's the second out. It's a great book on how a Major League Baseball team that is as sabermetrically inclined as the Rays are may operate. But their philosophy is really simple. If every transaction you make is made with the mind of not trying to win the trade 60-40, but 52-48% over the long haul, you'll come out just as far ahead. You don't have to make the big blockbuster deal. Just get incrementally better with each transaction. That certainly helped them in the Joe Madden years.
Yeah, makes sense.
2008 to 2013. Fly ball left. Bourne drifts back and makes the play. And Whistler works out of a modest bit of trouble here in the third inning. We go to the fourth. Braves up 3-1. Concert Thursday, October 1st, go on sale. A field pass is the only way to be on the field in front of the stage for the concert. Those on-field passes are sure to go quickly, so get yours now at Braves.com/concerts today. We head back home after the game tonight, an off day tomorrow. Then we welcome the Arizona Diamondbacks to town. Friday night, it'll be John Smoltz bobblehead night. Won't want to miss that. Julio Teheran gets the ball for the Braves on Friday evening with fireworks to follow. Braves have 6 hits off Jake Odorizzi so far. One of them from Adonis Garcia, who scored on the RBI single by Pedro Siriaco that came with 2 outs. And a ground ball to short. Cabrera's got it. And a high throw to first, but Loney tall enough to stretch out and get it. There's the first out of the inning. Big story in baseball today. Tip of the cap to the Seattle Mariners. Hisashi Iwakuma, he threw a no-hitter today against the Baltimore Orioles. It was a 3-0 final in Seattle.
Big Kuma. 3 walks, 7 strikeouts.
It is the 3rd no-hitter thrown by a Japanese pitcher in Major League Baseball. Hideo Nomo had 2 of them. Won the incredible no-hitter in Colorado against the Rockies. Nomo also threw one while with the Red Sox. It was the first no-hitter for the Mariners since Felix Hernandez no-hit Tampa Bay 1-0. 1-2 pitch for Peterson is skied to center. Kiermaier on the run, still going. He got there. Wasn't the prettiest of routes, but he made the grab at the fence. 2 out.
Speed helps make up for bad routes. We've talked about that before. And he's got speed to burn. He goes left, did a 360, and then after he did find it, he was smart not to take his eyes off of it. Playing this yard long enough, you know those things.
I think the Rays are just happy to have a center fielder willing to play deep on the turf here. Nick Swisher bats. He struck out his first time up. Story was B.J. Upton, who used to play so shallowly here in center field, was repeatedly asked by Joe Madden, play deeper, play deeper. Upton didn't want to do that. So, while the Rays were on a road trip, it was rumored that they moved the star, where Kiermaier is standing, back about 20 feet in the outfield. Just cut up the turf and move the star back. And Upton positioned himself at the star, and the problem was solved, unbeknownst to him. One and two for Nick Swisher. And high, even count. And a swing and a miss. And Odorizzi has a 1-2-3 fourth inning. Logan Forsythe leads the charge for the Rays next. It's 3-1 Atlanta in game 2. Final out from Safeco Field.
The Orioles to walk in the 8th inning after the no-no. Pitch on the way. Ball in the
air. That was his first complete game in the big leagues.
Is that right?
And he throws a no-hitter. So congratulations to Hisashi Iwakuma.
Just a good hitting team too, the Orioles.
At 34 years old, He's the oldest man to throw a no-hitter since Randy Johnson's perfect game against the Braves. So we've had Kershaw had a no-hitter, Heston had a no-hitter, and now Iwakuma. Is that right? We're missing one. And Cole Hamels, that's right. Thanks, Woody. Right before he got traded from the Phillies, Cole Hamels. So those are the 4 no-nos in big leagues this year. Logan Forsythe and a strike. One of Joe's keys were easy innings. Matt has not had but one of them, I guess. That would be the first, but only because Jaso ran into it out at third base. And he's got to go back in the stretch again in the 4th inning. Third leadoff man is reached via a hit for the Rays tonight.
The shortstop, Cabrera.
Once in a while on his delivery, on his breaking ball, he shortens it up. He doesn't reach out and break that curveball out with some extension on his delivery. And he brings his arm quickly back across his body and shortens it up. And when he shortens up that arm action, ball doesn't break as sharply. It hangs up.
Cabrera singled his first time up and takes the ball outside. Well, the Braves, as currently constructed, have the youngest starting rotation in Major League Baseball. One ball, no strikes. Pop fly foul back our way, and it's an even count. Williams Perez, part of that rotation, pitched a complete game but lost 2-0 last night. First Braves rookie to throw a complete game since 2008. As we said in our opening comments, that was done by Jorge Campillo against the Angels. Long fly ball foul, and that's a swinging strike for Cabrera. 1-2 your count. Hitting 6th, and the hottest hitter for the Rays is Asdrubal Cabrera. Whistler struck out 2 Tampa Bay hitters tonight. First time in 3 games they've had more than 1 strikeout as an offense. That's served out of play. It's still 1-2. Cabrera, born in Venezuela, lives in Plantation, Florida. He's a free agent at season's end. And a lot of very good years with the Cleveland Indians. He was a 2-time All-Star. Bounce to the right side. Peterson got it. 360 spin and a good throw to first. A productive out puts Forsythe at second. 1 away, and here's that youthful rotation I was speaking of. Our Toyota key play of the game.
Youngest rotation in baseball. 24 years and 27 days. Reds are pretty close in there, but at least 2/3 of a season, 2/3 of a year older. Rays in 3rd place with the youngest rotation. Got a lot of learning curve that you've got to live with, or so-called growing pains. But when they've got good stuff, you see a good outing, and then you may have a couple of not so good, then another good one, then maybe a couple not so good. You just keep running them out there because they get better. They learn from it. At least you hope they do. And Williams was so good last night, and coming off those 2 starts after the disabled list, took him a little while to get his bearings.
No balls at a strike. And a pop up out of play. You look at his line last night, Williams, Perez, you say, oh wow, he gave up a 2-run homer. He must have made a bad pitch. That wasn't the case. You said at the time that he just got beat by a hitter who guessed right and hit it out of the ballpark.
I 100% believe Kiermaier, even on a 1-2 count, was just sitting on that changeup and got it. Because he was not fooled. All he had to do, though, was to adjust to it. It was the outer third of the plate, and he went out around it and got it.
Nava short hopped at second. The runner will go to third. That's the second out. Sharply hit. Forsythe 90 feet away, but 2 men out for Kiermaier, last night's villain. Let's check in with Jen Hildreth.
Well, just to follow up on what Joe was saying, guys, I actually talked to Williams after the game last night. He was asked about that pitch to Kiermaier, and it's exactly what you said. He said he had thrown it to him before, the changeup, and Kiermaier had not taken a good swing on it, but he said he felt like it was a bad choice to go there again because he felt like Kiermaier was waiting on it, and it sure looked that way when he sent it out of the park.
Yeah, he looked bad on it earlier in the count, Jen.
And that's part of that learning curve Joe was talking about. So Williams can file that away, and here's the man of the hour last night, Kevin Kiermaier. He hit a comeback at the mound his first time up. Lost in the game last night. Let's tip our caps too. Erasmo Ramirez was brilliant. At one point he retired 16 straight hitters for the Braves, who had 4 hits in the first 2 innings, had a man thrown out of the plate and could not break through. Tonight Whistler was given 3 early runs. Now he's behind Kiermaier. 2 balls, no strikes. If he's pitching carefully to Kiermaier, he'd better be careful with the man on deck. Remember, Casale chased Michael Bourne to left field fence last time up.
Again, I take my chances with him.
And he will. 2-out walk. And it will be Casale, who's won for his last 24.
But you can't ignore Kiermaier because he represents the tying run and might try to steal.
He has 11 swipes on the year, and here's the former Vanderbilt star Kurt Casale and a veteran of Tommy John surgery. Strike called 0-1. Threw it right on by. It's 0-2. That's his best fastball of the night. Now the young righty ready with his 0-2 pitch. And he struck him out. How about that inning management from Matt Whistler? A leadoff hit, 2 ground outs, a pitcher out, and a strikeout. He preserves a 2-run lead.
Outdoors, right stuff, low price every day.
Joe and Chip with you from St. Petersburg. A lot of Braves fans on hand and some smiling faces tonight. Atlanta 3, the Rays 1. Big reason why, the man in the batter's box, Joey Turdoslavich, with a big 2-out single, brought home the game's first run. Pedro Ciriaco followed with a 2-out single himself. It made it 3-0 Atlanta. That's out of play to the left.
The ball jumps off his bat. It's been really hard for him to get consistent at bats. What with Freddie Freeman being a guy who rarely comes out of the lineup until this year and missing for a couple of injury stints. But especially left-handed. The ball does jump off Joey's bat.
As you heard Jen report, Joey's from Sarasota. A lot of friends and family have made the journey from the south to join us in St. Pete tonight. And already a good night for the Braves first baseman. Just missed 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Always nice to come home and have a good night.
That is cut on and missed, and Turdoslavich is out number 1.
See, he throws that fastball just off the plate, throws the fastball just off the plate. And then on a hitter's count, he comes back the same spot, but it's the changeup. Same spot, and it just dies, and you've got nothing working on it. Really good pitch.
And there's the first out. Here's Ciriaco. And he unloads down the left field line. That ball's got a chance. That ball is out of here. A line drive home run for Pedro Ciriaco. His first, and Atlanta's lead now 4-1.
There's a little notch down the left field line. It's only 315 down the line, right at the foul pole, and a real low fence, and he hit it right over that spot. Fastball, quick turn on it. See ya.
It has been a long while for Ciriaco to make the tour around the bases. His last homer, June 20th, 2013, against the Dodgers.
Good
and
for him.
Peter Moylan. So when your number 9 spot gives you 3 RBIs, you figure to have a good offensive night. That's exactly what Siriaco has done for the Braves. We have 4 runs on 7 hits tonight. Bourne pops one left side. Long run. Longoria down near the bullpen says he's got it, and he makes a good running catch. 2 out. And that'll bring up Cameron Maybin, who's doubled tonight. I forgot one more name on the no-hitter list this year. He almost threw a perfect game. Max Scherzer. Washington.
So there's been 5.
A lot of no-hitters this year. In the major leagues, with Iwakuma of the Mariners, the latest. One ball, no strikes for Maybin.
I'd say he's taken to that split finger changeup grip that Cobb taught him. I think he's taken to it real well.
And it's pretty remarkable what the Rays have done. Tiny payroll, tiny attendance. 10 pitchers on the disabled list at one point or another this year. Only 2.5 out of a wild card spot. That would be, I guess you could say, it could be one of the best managerial management jobs ever if this team could get in the playoffs this year. With what the Yankees, and the Orioles, and the Blue Jays are doing in the AL East. And they've got a very important road trip coming up. They'll find out a lot about their club with 3 in Texas, 4 in Houston, and 3 with the Oakland A's.
It's a tough trip.
Full count pitch for Maybin. And that's off the catcher's glove. We'll do it again. 3-2.
2 of the biggest blows tonight against Odorizzi. One, the double by Trdoslavich after he'd struck out Peterson and Swisher. Struck out Swisher on a changeup, came back, hung a curveball to Trdoslavich.
And Maybin whacks that to center field. Good to see Maybin going again after a 25-game dry spell. 2 more hits for the Braves center fielder tonight.
He struck out Trdoslavich to start this inning on a changeup, and again the very next pitch, fastball down the middle, hit for a home run.
So Jen, good to have Cameron aboard in front of Nick Markakis.
Yeah, it was brought to Cameron's attention last night that he had reached 100 hits on the season. He said, "Oh, I did? Well, I'm just trying to get my Nick Markakis on." And he said that Markakis has actually given him pretty good advice, just trying to hit the ball, make good contact, don't get caught up trying to hit it out of the park. It's exactly what he did just there.
Well, he's got a ways to go to catch Nick, who picked up hit number 131 his last time up.
Eight home runs for Cameron, but his last was July 8th. So he's kind of taken Nick's advice in a lot of ways. Just make good contact.
Braves are teeing off on a man that has a 1.40 home ERA this year. Jake Odorizzi has allowed 4 runs, 8 hits tonight. 2 balls, no strikes. That caught a corner. It's 2-1. And a good cut at that one, fouled it straight back, and it's even now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We will see Paul Goldschmidt on Friday. We'll also see A.J. Pollock.
Nick closing in on D. Gordon, though.
The Diamondbacks a .500 club at the start of tonight's play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runner goes. Swing and a miss, ends the inning. And Odorizzi surrenders but 1. That was the Pedro Ciriaco homer to left. His first homer in 2 years. Anyway, Pedro, I'll vote for you. 4-1 Atlanta. Bottom of the 5th inning. Teeth against the Diamondbacks. Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines are the sponsors. The first 20,000 fans through the gates of Turner Field get a bobblehead featuring the newly elected Hall of Famer. Get your tickets today by visiting Braves.com/tickets. And today is a very, very important day in the history of the Braves and John Smoltz. It was on this date when the Braves traded Doyle Alexander to the Tigers and acquired John Smoltz.
Red letter day, to be sure. I think it's nice that they happened to do it on Gretchen Caney's birthday. How coincidental.
Yeah. Gretchen, 29 forever. As that's fouled away by John Jaso.
I chose not to give her any grief today because I know how hard 43 is to get past.
Shift on for Jaso. Pitch is fouled away.
I think Jaso needs something else in his swing. Yeah. I think he's got enough going on.
How about a big high leg kick?
Yeah. Oh, good idea.
But to really make it a challenge, it should be the back leg.
Yeah.
Line drive foul. My dad was my little league coach. We had a kid who never played baseball, and Dad had been around the game his whole life. This kid stepped up the plate, and he had home plate between his legs facing the pitcher with a bat over his head like a sledgehammer. Jason could try that. He went around, and A.J. applies the tag, and there's out number 1. Whistler's got 4 strikeouts tonight, and it's trivia time. Our AT&T Universe trivia question is, A.J. Pierzynski has a .280 lifetime average here at Tropicana Field. That's second among active catchers. Who's first?
With at least 125 at bats. Matt Wieters?
Wieters got hurt, by the way.
Did he?
Hamstring. For Baltimore. I don't know if Brian McCann has enough at bats yet.
I doubt it.
Russell Martin.
Probably not. Well, he was with the Yankees. Jason Varitek.
It's active, so
active.
Yeah, wouldn't be Varitek. And Sizemore bats.
And unloads deep to right field. That one over the catwalk and way out of here to right. That is a mammoth home run. The ball ricochets halfway between the warning track and the dirt cutout at second base. That is a mammoth home run.
Whew. It's too bad they're not going to be able to measure that one. There's a little taste of Grady Sizemore. The far reaches. And then off the catwalk and drop back onto the field. That's an automatic home run.
Well, I'm sorry he hit the home run off Whistler, but as a fan of the game and of talented players like Sizemore, I hope somehow, some way he can find the fountain of youth again. 4 years basically lost to injury. However long he's able to play, I hope he has a few more moments of glory once the Braves leave town.
Yeah, just some satisfaction in knowing that all the work he put into all of his rehab for 4 years was worth it.
So it's now a 2-run game with Evan Longoria up. Whistler's had his number tonight. Ground out and a strikeout for the Rays all-star third baseman. Another good pitch. Longoria cracks one foul to left. And well out of play. Mentioned a couple of times last night that the Rays drawing about 15,000 fans a game. But they've really implemented a terrific attendance gimmick, if you will. This is a very heavily populated military area. MacDill Air Force Base is in this area. The Rays have initiated what's called an honor pass. Veterans and active military are allowed a free ticket to come watch the Rays play here at home. And it's been very, very successful.
That's a nice thing.
And a shot down the left field line is foul again.
That was a good pitch. Something other than a fastball. 3-2, threw him a breaking ball. And a pretty good one.
Longoria has hit another tape measure foul ball.
Yeah, that was off the facing of the second deck that's well behind what you would consider the face of the fence. Way back. Fastball supposed to be away. Wasn't. So he could come up with now.
And Longoria is down on strikes.
And he took a little off. Very nice.
Second time Longoria's whiffed. That's 5 strikeouts, 2 down.
Jake Odorizzi right there.
as Loney singled and scored in the second. Grady Sizemore, homer in the fifth, has made it a 4-2 game. And now Loney looks outside at ball one. Mets are winning tonight. They are hosting Colorado. It's 2-0 Mets in the sixth inning. The Nationals were shut out by the Dodgers last night and Zach Greinke. Tonight, Jordan Zimmerman faces Clayton Kershaw. No Bryce Harper, a sore knee last night. And the Mets have again claimed a 2.5 game lead over the Nationals in the Eastern Division race.
Sore knee cropped up when Greinke and Kershaw were scheduled, or does he have a real sore knee?
Apparently he injured it making a sliding catch on Monday night. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And in the air to center, the fourth place hitter gives Whistler some more trouble. And Loney's aboard with a 2-out hit. Keep hearing from the Nationals is it's their division to win. Well, they're not doing much about it. They're 13-18 since the 4th of July, and they've scored the 3rd fewest runs in the National League in that stretch. And the excuse of, oh, we're not healthy, doesn't really apply. They're missing one guy. It's a big guy, Denard Span. But don't tell the Mets about injuries. Nobody's been beaten up more than New York, in my opinion. And they're the team that leads the East.
Braves 10 games back. Trying to pick up a win on the road tonight, but it's the road that has really done the Braves in. Lost 12 of the last 14 on the road.
Action begins in the Atlanta pen as Whistler is cruising toward 100 pitches. One of Joe's keys was 1, 2, 3 innings.
And long balls.
And Whistler had an unconventional 1, 2, 3 inning in the first. That was after the leadoff double and Jaso thrown out at third base. But nothing's come easy for him tonight with a 2-run lead.
That's McKirahan.
That was called a strike. Logan Forsythe behind now, 1-2.
Well, let's see if Quinn Walcott got it right. Forsythe didn't like it. PNC Bank box track shows it was just off the line. Borderline went to Matt this time.
Bounce towards Siriaco at short. He'll flip to Jace at the bag, and that's the inning. 1 run, 2 hits. The Sizemore homer to right cuts into the Braves lead. After 5, it's 4-2 Braves. 6th inning. The good news is the Braves will have a ton of home games left beginning Friday night.
Record ERA, starters ERA, all so much better at Turner Field. Even the offense a skosh better. It's funny, the Braves in this stretch since the All-Star break, and even more recent than that, it seems like they score 9 runs or they score none, 1 or 2. So tonight they've got 4, somewhere in between, and a chance to add on.
Next big road trip for the Braves coming up is beginning August 17th. 3 in San Diego, 4 with the Cubs. Braves have a trip to Washington and Philly, a trip to New York and Miami, and that's it. I mean, there are just a small handful of road trips left for the Braves. As AJ smacks one toward Kiermaier in center, and he'll make the grab for the first out. The beautiful thing for Atlanta is all of these games coming up, or seemingly all of them, are impactful games. They're big for the Cubs, the Mets, the Nationals. I mean, those are great opportunities for the Braves to make life tough for their division rivals. And here's Garcia. Donis 1 for 2. And a strike. Action's begun in the Tampa Bay bullpen. Jesus Colome is up and throwing. Line toward the Braves pen. Kiermaier continues to work. That leads you to believe he's coming on for the 6th. And Garcia might have broken his bat. Foul. After the game tonight, Freddie Gonzalez will make his way to Orlando. He's going to stop in down at the Braves minor league complex and check on the status of Freddie Freeman and Hector Olivera. Jen reported earlier tonight that first degree shot to right, handled out there by Daniel Nava for the second out. Jen reported John Hart told her before the game that Freeman and Oliveira could be headed out for rehab stints on Thursday in the Gulf Coast League. So it sounds like both of those guys are edging closer to an Atlanta uniform, which would be more thump, more options for Freddie Gonzalez as he fills out the lineup card. Foul ball by Peterson, strike 1.
Yeah, those are encouraging signs. Be nice to see those two guys in Atlanta Braves uniforms and ready to go, help the lineup out.
Peterson hits it into the shift. And Odorizzi, if that's his final inning, it was an impressive one. 2 flyouts and a ground out. Home 6th coming up. Let's see if McKirahan's coming on for the Braves. It appears he will in a 4-2 game. Use hashtag South Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Maybe we get a picture of a fan with one of the Rays out there in the Ray tank tonight.
You're fixated on those Rays, aren't you?
I like them. They're cool. Cool critters. Let's see if McCarhan's cool under pressure in his 12th game tonight.
He had a rough outing in the home series against Miami. Gave up 3 runs in an inning, but then 2 days later got back on track. 2 innings of 1-hit shutout ball with a strikeout.
Cabrera, Nava, and Kiermaier are coming up. And a shot to left will bounce in front of Michael Bourne. 4th time in 6 innings, the Rays have put the leadoff man aboard.
Knee-high fastball. Obviously, the Rays, like so many other teams, they don't see as many left-handers as right-handers. But their team's hitting .252 against left-handed pitching, .239 against right.
So the tying run comes to the plate. This will be Brandon Guyer. Guyer for Nava. We saw Guyer as a pinch runner earlier in the series. And if you pitch him inside, be careful. This kid's not afraid to lean into one. He's been hit by a pitch 17 times. In fact, was hit in 4 straight games, August 4th through the 8th. First player to do that since Chase Utley did it a year ago. Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs leads the All-Brews team with 23 hit by pitches. .27 games in left, 13 in right, 12 in center. And when a left-handed starter pitches against Tampa Bay, Guyer's one of their outfielders. Down the right field line, foul. And the Westchester, Pennsylvania native faces a 1-1 count. 1-2 count, I beg your pardon.
He's hit into 3 double plays. Let's see if he can hit into another one. Kieran can get him to hit one on the ground off this turf. Ender's got some new shoes.
Almost didn't recognize him. 1 ball, 2 strikes. What'd you call those things he was wearing?
Good pitch. Wedgies. Same shoes, just different color confirmation.
Good try on the 1-2 pitch. Now let's see what he cooks up with an even count. Struck him out with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Guyer's retired. 1 on, 1 out.
Number 39, Kevin Kiermaier.
Lefty now with Kiermaier, who has one of the Rays' RBIs. Bouncing ball back to the mound. Brought home James Loney in the second.
We saw him guess last night. It looked like he was doing the same thing there and almost got hit by a hanging slider.
Pitch was buzzing in on his hands and he couldn't resist. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good life on his fastball tonight. That one was awfully close, and AJ tried to hold that one for him. Right at the bottom of the zone on NC Bank Fox tracks. Didn't get the call.
Sharply hitting through the right side. Base hit. Cabrera around second on his way to third. The Rays have runners at the corners now with one out. So McKirahan got the righty. Kiermaier, the lefty, singles, and now big time trouble tying runners who are aboard with one out in the inning.
It's funny how not getting a call changes the at bat too, and the approach you take to try to put a guy away.
Well, Casali has stranded a small village of base runners so far tonight. He left 2 on in the second. He left 2 on in the fourth. He's got 2 on here in the sixth. But for the first time, bats with less than 2 outs in these run scoring situations. (4-2) Atlanta, but the Rays threatening in the sixth. Sharply hit off the glove of Garcia. Siriaco to second. Ball dropped, but Peterson got the call on the transfer. A run is in to make it 4-3. And here comes Kevin Cash out to talk to John Tumpane about the play at second base.
That ball was ripped. Great play by Adonis Garcia just to get leather on it. He's checking his webbing. Heads up play by Siriaco to go to second. And then when the ball didn't come out cleanly from Jace, I was really surprised they got the call. Keep in mind, Kiermaier can fly, and they still got the call.
And the Rays are going to challenge the out call at second base. What a heads-up play by Siriaco, who, like Andrelton Simmons, didn't give up on the play. He was thinking about getting it out. Backed up Garcia, threw a strike to second.
Yeah, throw beat him. Perfect angle there.
And the fans are seeing on the scoreboard here the ball popping out of the glove, but that's the transfer play. And that was what was immediately signaled by John Tumpane, the second base umpire. Now, with the Rays challenging the out call, is there enough clear and convincing evidence to change the call?
In slow motion, yes. I mean, in slow motion, it definitely looks like an out because the throw beat him. Just a matter, you know, Tumpane was right there on it to signal the transfer that he was taking it out of the glove. But our replay showed that he was definitely out on the throw.
So this call, we believe, should be confirmed with the second out at second base. Casali's at first with a fielder's choice and an RBI, his 12th RBI of the year. It's a one-run game irrespective of how the decision at second base is judged. And the top of the order in John Jaso is going to be the next man up for Tampa Bay. Matt Whistler, 5 innings of 7 hit, 2-run ball. He struck out 5 and allowed a homer. And the verdict is in. He is indeed out. The call is confirmed at second base on the transfer rule. Kiermaier beaten at second. And now there are 2 out. 2 minutes and 2 seconds on that replay review. So the call stands, or confirmed, whichever you prefer. And Richie Schaefer is going to be announced as a pinch hitter. And that's going to be the end of the line for Andrew McCurahan. Looks like David Artsma will be called upon, and the veteran right-hander will stride in from the Atlanta bullpen. A run on 2 hits across for the Rays in the 6th. Got a 1-run game at the Trop. To pitch, he's on for the 27th time this year.
David Ardsman's getting a ton of work. 27th game for him already, getting a strikeout per inning pitched. He could use one here against a guy who has broke in with a bang.
He broke in with a bang in one of the funniest moments of the season for the Tampa Bay Rays. You see the 2 homers for Schaefer. Sunday against the Mets, became the 3rd player in team history with 3 hits and a homer in his Tropicana Field debut as a Ray. But that wasn't his first big league homer. And the reaction of his teammates after he hit his first home run was absolutely priceless. 1 ball, no strikes. It's 1-1. Heard of the silent treatment before?
Oh yeah.
It's a home run, walks into the dugout. The rest of his teammates look on like, not big deal. We've seen that before, right? Schaefer wasn't going to let him get away with it. That pitch was tied. 2 balls and a strike. The 2-1 pitch is cut on and missed.
He was a #1 draft pick by the Rays out of Clemson in 2012. 6'3", 210. 19 homers last year in AA. He had 23 already this year in the minor leagues before he got called up.
Drafted as a 3rd baseman. He and Evan Longoria, the only 3rd baseman drafted in the 1st round by the Rays. He'll have a seat as Ardsma pinwheels his right arm and struck out Richie Schaefer. He'll get the silent treatment after taking a called 3rd strike, and the Braves hold a lead. Concert Thursday, October 1st, go on sale. A field pass is the only way to be on the field in front of the stage for that great post-game concert. Those tickets are sure to go quickly. Get yours now at braves.com/concerts today. David Ardsma cool under fire. He just struck out Mr. Schaefer to send this game to the 7th inning with the Braves up a run. Jake Odorizzi still out there for the Rays. He's got the bottom of the Atlanta order coming up. Geyer remains in the game to play right.
That changeup has given Swisher fits all night.
There was some heat, and Nick fouled it straight back. What a luxury it is in the American League in this regard. Your manager doesn't have to worry about taking an effective pitcher out of the game. Remember, the Rays had the bottom part of their order up in the home 6th inning. No need to pinch hit. At least for the pitcher, you can play matchup with the opposing bullpen, and if your starter's doing good work, let him stay out there. Rizzi gave up 3 runs in the second, 1 run since. And he missed high for Swisher, full count.
And I don't remember too many times tonight. He hasn't been to that many 3-2 counts. Seems like he's not throwing anything but change-ups in this situation.
And Swisher takes high, a leadoff walk. That's a good sign. Braves need some insurance, up a run. Here's Trdoslavich, who has an RBI double.
First walk of the night. They're going to pinch run. They're going to put Yuri Perez in to pinch run for Nick.
Perez has excellent speed. Let's see how Freddie Gonzalez manages Perez here.
Even if the Braves hitters were up looking for the changeup early in the count, which wouldn't be a bad idea, he hasn't made mistakes with that tonight. Made a mistake with a hanging breaking ball to Joey in the 2nd inning.
In the air to left, Sizemore back, warning track, fence, reaches up, can't get it, it's off the wall. The Braves have runners at 2nd and 3rd as Trdoslavich has another double.
Until then, Joey hit a breaking ball off the wall that one hopped the wall, and now he hits a changeup off the wall that almost went out. First changeup that he's really left up in the zone tonight, and Trdoslavich again gives one a ride just out of the reach of Sizemore.
And that'll be the end of the line for Jake Odorizzi. 6+ innings. 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, 4 runs so far, but a chance for a big Atlanta inning is brewing here in the top of the 7th. Baxby's indescribably good play.
Behind in the count, fought off that fastball in the second inning to plate 2 runs. Great job of putting the ball in play and getting good results. And then, for the first time in 2 years, he hit a rocket in the 5th inning, a fastball, and got out of here in a hurry. His first home run of the year. He's driven in 3 tonight.
And Alex Colomé is on to pitch. His last outing was August 7th against the Mets. Struck out the only man he was assigned.
Mid-90s fastball, hard slider. And also work in a curve and a change.
There's some of that heat. Strike 1. Colomé has started 13 games for the Rays this year, but has been much more effective for them since moving to the bullpen. A 2.63 ERA in 9 relief outings, and has given up 1 earned run since the All-Star break over 7 relief outings. That's an explosive pitch that got away, but not far enough for Perez with nobody out to streak home. And the count 0-2.
Oh, cross up big time. And off the shin guard. They're really lucky that didn't skip all the way to the wall.
Colomé, 26 years old, from San Pedro de Macorís. And a fly ball towards Sizemore and left. He's got it. Perez tags. He's headed home. The throw will be short, hopped off the chest of Longoria. A sac fly. And Turdoslavich in safely on a belly flop at third base. It's 5-3. Terry Pendleton had both hands on his helmet at first base, praying that Turdoslavich was going to make it to third base.
Remember when he ran into an out at second base at home?
Yes.
On a real base running blunder? He almost did the same thing. There's no reason for him to tag and go to third when the left fielder's throwing the ball in. He got really lucky that the ball bounced off the chest of Longoria and able to slide in. That was very fortunate for Joey.
And now he's going to try to come home on a wild pitch, and he'll slide in safely.
Paid off.
And the Braves have made it a 6-3 game. And all the runs in this inning belong to Odorizzi, who finished with 6 runs allowed in 6+ innings.
Another cross up. You could tell by the way Casale's glove was going up and then had to chase the ball, which was a slider, hard slider. Meanwhile, Pedro Siriaco with 4 RBIs tonight, and he hit a good breaking ball for the sac fly.
Tonight, when the Braves wanted to give Anderson Simmons a night off, Siriaco has stepped into the shortstop spot and had a gigantic night. A homer, 4 RBIs, his first 4 RBI game since July 7th, 2012. And that one shot toward short. There's out number 2. Michael Bourne, another hard hit ball, goes unrewarded. He's 0 for 4. So Cameron Maben, the batter. Atlanta with 3 in the second, 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 7th. Back to a 6-3 lead. Good night tonight for Cameron Maben. He's doubled, singled, and grounded out. Ball, no strikes. Mark Sperry will be next. See why they like this guy.
Yeah, nothing wrong with his arm. Had a little trouble with the signs tonight. Might be that left-handed cap he's wearing.
2-2 pitch is cut on and missed, and that retires the side. A walk, a double, a sac fly, and a wild pitch. Plates 2 more for Atlanta. Time to stretch. 6-3 Braves lead it.
CU-verse, Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
Fans, as we promised you earlier tonight, we've selected our Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #SouthDataStrongFan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by T-Mobile.
Tabby Cat. Thanks for sending it in the land of what's it called? Disco Kitty.
Disco Kitty.
Yeah,
loved it. Did you see that?
Saw it. It's crazy.
It is.
Cray cray. Matt Marksberry, his 7th game. Would like to have a quick inning.
Grady Sizemore hit a tape measure home run here. That was back in the 5th. He's got a 2-for-3 night. High fly ball toward left center. Bourne on the run. He and Maben miscommunicate. The ball bounces off the track and over the fence.
They lost it. Michael lost it. Cameron was trying to get over there to help him.
He was pointing. I'm assuming he's saying take it, right? Take it because I don't see it.
I think he picked it up too late. Like, you know, help me out here.
So that's a double for Sizemore, who's a triple away from the cycle. And here's Longoria. Rays come charging right back with a dome double.
You know, I know this ballpark has been here a while and was here before the Rays got here. It's their park. But boy, oh boy, do they need a new yard.
A 1 pitch is high and away, even count. See what Marksberry's made of. See if he can get the Rays third baseman. Don't want to put him on. Bring the tying run to the plate. Up the middle. Peterson kept it on the infield and flipped to Siriaco. A heads-up play, but it's an infield hit for Evan Longoria, and runners are at the corners with nobody out.
Well, at least for the moment, it saved a run. We'll see how the inning plays out, but if it had gotten into center field, Sizemore certainly would have scored. Nice stop by Jace.
Now James Loney is the batter. He's 2 for 3 with a run scored. Down the right field line. That's going to score 1. Here comes Longoria around second. He's on his way to third. They'll stop him. It's a double for Loney. 3 straight Tampa Bay hits in the 7th inning.
Like a fastball, and it was down and in. And that'll be an RBI for Loney and a pinch runner in for him.
It's Tim Beckham.
Now batting, second baseman Logan Forsythe.
Need an out.
Three straight hits brings up Logan Forsythe, who's 1 for 3 tonight. And a strike. The inning began with a double to left center field by Grady Sizemore that Michael Bourne lost in the roof and the lights. Longoria an infield hit. Loney a double to right. And now A.J. Brzezinski out to calm down Marksberry. Told you how good a year Forsythe has had. He's knocked in 50 runs.
Tough out in this situation too. Patient, waiting on his pitch.
Fly ball towards center. Maben gallops over. He's got it. Runner at third tags. Runner at second. Beckham is in safely at third. It's a sac fly and an RBI for Logan Forsythe. Longoria scores to make it 6-5. 51 RBIs for the Tampa Bay second baseman.
Good throw by Maben. Right on the bag. He had to stop and throw back, so it took a little steam off his throw, but right there and almost got Beckham. So now the tying run at third. Braves infield will play in. Braves are waiting to see if he was safe or out. Now they are going to have them check it.
This does two things. One, you might get a change call at third base, but secondly, it allows your bullpen some extra time to warm up. The right-hander down there just got up a moment ago. Safe or out.
Close. Tag was on the shoulder. At least in that replay, I didn't see anything. The original replay, the umpire kind of blocked our view of when Beckham actually hit the base.
That would be a huge challenge victory for the Braves if Beckham was called out at third base, because that would take away the tying run and make it a 2-out inning. Ball beats him to the bag. Tag right there. Question is, were his fingers on the base?
Yeah, his fingers are up, so he doesn't jam his fingers into the bag.
And the ruling is he's safe. The call stands or is confirmed. And now you've got Cabrera coming up already with 2 hits. And the infield in for Atlanta with 1 out.
And he's a switch hitter. .273 right-handed, .251 left-handed.
Kelly is ready for Geyer if it gets that far. Popped up into the stands. Strike 1. Since coming off the disabled list, Asdrubal Cabrera hitting .428.
Yeah, this is the guy they want up there.
.34 extra base hits as well.
Trying to keep the ball down, hoping he'll hit it at somebody. Good pitch.
1-2.
Change up, perfectly located. Nothing good. Let's see him try that fastball away again and then come back with a changeup.
Popped him up. Let's see if the Braves can catch this one. Peterson backpedals and gets his man. So Marksberry gets Cabrera to pop out for the second out of the inning. And now Brandon Geyer's coming up.
That was a great execution of a high pitch by Marksberry. They wanted the high fastball. AJ gave him the high target, and he put it right there and got Cabrera to chase it. Well done.
Geyer struck out in the 6th.
Freddie's going to stay with him.
You've got Kiermaier on deck. And Marksberry ready for his 17th pitch of the inning.
Tried to walk into that one. Did you see him?
Yep, sure did.
Umpires have got to be aware of that too.
That got away. Tying run scores on a wild pitch. 6-6.
AJ has done a better job in his career of blocking balls than he did on that one. There was another one earlier in this inning on the 0-2 pitch to Cabrera, another fastball that was in the dirt that he was lucky.
Down the left field line, fair and off the wall. That's the 3rd double of the inning.
AJ was fortunate earlier in the inning to block a ball in the dirt by just backhanding it. He wasn't lucky on the wild pitch. Middle of the plate, it was down. Go ahead run on.
And Kiermaier, the hitter. A rare walk was issued to Kiermaier in the 4th inning. He singled last time up and has an RBI and a ground out. And he bounces one to the right side. Terdoslavich got it. And he led to the pitcher. Runner around third, safe. The speed of Kiermaier made that play. Marksberry got to the bag, didn't step on it, and Geyer never stopped running. He came around third, and Tampa Bay has taken the lead.
But you can't become a spectator. Every drill in spring training, pitcher fielding practice, PFP, step on the bag. If there's a runner on base, you turn and check the runner. Marksberry did not do that. Stutter step there. He's looking at the umpire. All the while, Geyer is being waved home and scored easily. But you cannot become a spectator waiting for umpires' calls on a play like this. Good lead by Joey. But it was an afterthought about the runner scoring.
And Charlie Montoya, the third base coach for the Rays, you saw in that low angle replay, just kept waving his man around third. And it's a disastrous 7th for Marksberry, who allows 4 runs and the Rays a lead.
Well, he wasn't under control. He got a quick feed from Joey, time to catch it and tag the base, but he was already by the base. And then the mental mistake of not turning to check the runner. He knew he missed the bag. I don't know why he was looking at the umpire waiting for a call. He missed the bag. You got to turn and check that guy who had been at second. A nightmare of an inning for Marksberry.
4 runs, 4 hits, and the costly error brings home the lead run for the Rays, who are up 7-6. And now Curt Casale is the batter, the 8th man to hit in the inning. Ryan Kelly is the pitcher for the Braves. This is a huge game for Tampa Bay. Again, they are fighting for a playoff spot. They're 2.5 back in the wild card of the American League, and only 5 games behind the Yankees in the East. Runner goes, pitch a strike, throw to second, late. Kiermaier's 12th stolen base, and the Rays look for some insurance.
This guy is so quick. We keep talking about him, but he's capable of stealing 30 bases a year or more.
Casale didn't get it. It was a good pitch. Two-thirds of an inning for Marksberry. 4 hits, 4 runs so far. The man at second belongs to him as well.
It started with that one that was lost in the roof, which was very unfortunate.
Fly ball down the left field line. It's got the distance. It's off the pole. A home run for Curt Casale. He was 1 for 26, and he hit the foul pole, and the Rays have a magical inning and now lead 9-6.
1 for 26, and get this, Chippy, 7 of his last 10 hits overall have been homers.
So the Rays bat around in the 7th. They were down 3-0, 4-1, 6-3. They've scored 6 in the inning and lead 9-6. Baltimore already lost today. They were no hit by Seattle. That's one of the teams that Tampa Bay is trying to catch. Toronto beat Oakland 10-3. The Jays have the top spot in the wild card. Swing and a miss, and that'll end the inning. What an inning it was for the Rays. 6 runs in the 7th inning. They lead it 9-6.
CPI Security, and the Georgia Lottery.
Big inning for the Rays. They now lead at 9-6 as we head to the 8th inning. Let's look at our DirecTV standings, and it's the American League East tonight. The race up to the minute. Look at where the Tampa Bay Rays are. Baltimore already lost tonight. Seattle no-hit them. Toronto won. The Yankees are losing, Joe.
Yeah, Toronto could be in first tomorrow morning and have won 10 in a row.
If they win tonight, it is 10 in a row. They clobbered Oakland 10-3 tonight. The Rays, if they win tonight, would leapfrog past Baltimore in the American League wild card race. And pending the outcome of the Angels game, they could be just a game and a half out of the last wild card spot. I mean, this is the most remarkable thing anybody in this part of the country could have imagined, as you see Jake McGee in his 34th game.
Yeah, with all the Rays lost and all the injuries they've had, especially to their pitching staff, it's a testament to their organization.
And they were selling at the deadline, as this one's grounded to second. Marquez is the first out. Remember, they traded Kevin Jepson and David DeJesus.
Right.
So Tim Beckham's in the game. He's at second. Logan Forsythe moves to first. And one away in the 8th for the Braves. A.J. Pierzynski, the batter. He missed, ball one. Well, you thought you were in good shape in the 7th after Odorizzi gave up 2 more runs after a walk and a double, a sac fly, and a wild pitch. The Braves played at their 5th and 6th runs, but it all came unraveled in the home 7th. Three of the 5 runs by Marksberry were earned. As this one's launched over the screen foul by Pierzynski, it's a ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Slow, tantalizing breaking ball. And McGee dropped a beauty in there for his first strikeout.
Doesn't throw many of them, but uses it effectively against lefties. Fastball mid to upper 90s.
McGee served time as a closer for the Rays last year. Had 19 saves in 73 games. The final 3.5 months, McGee was their 9th inning man. Pitched great. This offseason had some loose bodies taken out of the left elbow. There are a lot of interchangeable parts on this Tampa Bay club, and McGee one of them. Upstairs for Adonis Garcia, who has singled and scored tonight. Hammered down the right field line.
Tell you what, Adonis likes that high fastball.
Cowbells are clanging in the 8th. That's whistled into the seats.
.97 on that heater, and he fought it off.
Two balls, two strikes.
Good at bat.
He continues. Rushing it up there at 96 miles an hour. Garcia ready for a ninth pitch. Bounce back to the mound, and in self-defense, McGee speared it and threw him out. 3 up, 3 down in the Atlanta 8th. The Rays are back to the plate. They sent 9 to the dish in the 7th. They've scored 9 runs tonight. 9-6 is your score. We'll lead things off. AJ Przinsky, our AT&T U-verse trivia question tonight. He has a .280 lifetime average here in St. Pete, ranking second among active catchers. Minimum of 125 at bats. Who's first?
I'm not going to stay in the AL East. I'm going to go Joe Mauer.
That's a great call, and I will say, I'll say Brian McCann. Somehow, some way, maybe he's got enough at bats. I don't think I'm right, but let's see if we've shared the love tonight. And it's the man we talked about, Matt Wieters. Yeah, 346 average. Baltimore could have used him tonight. They were no hit in Seattle, lost 3-0. So Arodys Vizcaíno on to shut the door in the 8th and give the Braves a chance in the 9th inning.
Just some work for Vizcaino, who has pitched really well since he came back.
Swing and a miss by Sizemore. And there's strikeout number 1. Slider got Grady, who entered that at bat needing a triple for the cycle. 3 for 5 tonight for the Rays outfielder. And 2 runs scored. Here's Longoria.
14 of Vizcaino's appearances, 14 of his 15 have been scoreless.
Two balls, no strikes. I think it'll be very interesting to see how the Braves fill the closer spot in the years ahead. Vizcaino may have a head start in that department. You look at other teams around the major leagues, their philosophy is that's an interchangeable piece. You can restack, rebuild your bullpen year after year without a high-priced closer. Swing and a miss. As you said, he certainly has the stuff, and if he throws strikes, that's a big key.
And so far he has. Not just tonight.
And he just blew away Evan Longoria, who struck out for a 3rd time tonight. And 4 times in the series.
That was gas. That was just high heat.
Here's Tim Beckham, born in Griffin, lives in Atlanta. First overall pick in the 2008 draft. Last year had a torn right ACL. His first big league action came in 2013. Played in 5 games, 7 at bats. Tim was the first #1 overall pick drafted out of Georgia since Mike Ivey. He was a San Diego Padre #1 pick, taken first overall in 1970. Out of Griffin High School, for a champion. And now he's down to his last strike, 1-2 your count. Griffin High School, also the high school home of former Brave Jeff Treadway.
I hope Jeff's doing well. Didn't see him at the alumni functions.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And that's bounced off Brzezinski. AJ's all right. And 1-2 your count. Home Friday night for the Diamondbacks. John Smoltz bobblehead night. We'll get our only home look at Paul Goldschmidt and A.J. Pollock, 2 of the men in the top 5 in hits in the National League. Now the 1-2 pitch. He swung and missed. Ball popped away from Brzezinski. He'll make the peg to first. And how about that 8th inning? Vizcaino strikes out the side. Last call for Atlanta. They need 3 to tie it in Tampa. It's 9-6 Rays in front. Atlanta, we want you to help us select the most memorable moment in Atlanta Braves history. Go to Braves.com/A50 today and vote on the current matchup. The Brian McCann playoff home run in 2005 versus Bobby Cox being carried off the field in 2010. Visit Braves.com/A50 to relive your favorite Atlanta Braves moments. A 6-run seventh for the Rays has them ahead for Brad Boxberger entering the ninth inning, and look at what he's done in save situations.
Well, he's done a good job in that situation, but he hasn't had a very good year in some other categories. 4-8 is his record, 2.96 ERA, and he has a club record 5 walk-off losses in those 8 losses so far this year. Hasn't pitched since Saturday. He gave up a blown save and a loss to the Mets last Friday, then got a save on Saturday. Low 90s fastball and a good changeup.
$16,337 here tonight as Jace Peterson leads off the Atlanta ninth. Jace 0 for 3. Including a second inning strikeout, and Boxberger immediately falls behind.
Smart to make him throw you a strike.
Boxberger was originally a #1 pick. I take that back. His dad was a #1 pick by the Astros out of USC. Brad also played at USC. Was originally a #1 pick by the Reds. He was part of the Yonder Alonso Grandal trade. And came over from the Padres before the 2015 season. Last year set a Rays record for strikeouts in relief. And just walked the leadoff man with a 3-run lead in the ninth. Thank you very much.
Well, he's also among the leaders in walks in the American League. He's tied for 8th in strikeouts and tied for 2nd in walks. So he's got that category all to himself in 2nd with this 25th.
Yuri Perez came on as a pinch runner in the 7th inning. Scored on a wild pitch. So this is Yuri's first at bat of the night. The Braves were stunned by a 6-run Tampa 7th in Atlanta. Stunned them in the ninth.
Made him throw him a strike. Now he goes to work.
Braves have won 3 games this year when trailing after 8. Way high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rays have lost only 1 game this year when leading after 8. Strike 3. Perez thought it was low. Boxberger has his first strikeout.
Let's check out our PNC Bank Fox tracks. Bottom of the zone. Held the line pretty good. No sinking action.
Well, before friends and family tonight, Joey Todoslavich has had a real good game. A couple of doubles, a couple of runs, and an RBI.
Again, when you're down by 3 and your run doesn't mean anything, smart to make him throw you a strike. He's already walked 1.
There you go. No, he did not.
Might have caught a break.
3 balls and a strike.
Definitely caught a break.
Pedro Siriaco's had a monster game. He's on deck. And Turdoslavich walks. And that brings the tying run to the plate. And a man that's already homered in the game and has a 4 RBI night.
See, I don't get that kind of stuff. This guy throws hard. He's in the low 90s. He's got a good changeup, granted. Those are his 2 pitches. But when you throw your second best pitch in his case and walk the guy to bring up the potential tying run, that's quite foolish to me. If you give up a base hit, you give up a homer. It's still a 1-run ball game.
Now, you make a mistake like that, you blow another save. And here is Siriaco. Oh, the pitch, low, ball 1. Nobody's up in the Tampa Bay bullpen, but that might change any second.
Now representing the tying run, the way Pedro has already jumped on a fastball tonight for a homer. You get one here, 2-0, it might be time to go.
So meeting on the mound, Cedeno is up and throwing on what could be a huge game for the Rays. The Yankees lost, by the way. The Angels are losing. Baltimore already lost. The Rays can ill afford to let this game slip through their hands, and the Braves are trying to steal it away from them in the 9th with 2 on and 1 out. Brief meeting with Jim Hickey, the pitching coach. Peterson at second, Turdoslavich at first. The man in the box, the man of the hour, Pedro Siriaco. Here it is. He showed bunt. 2-2.
Got a good pitch to hit, too. I'm not sure what the point of that was. I realize trying to reach as the tying run is one thing, but when you're swinging as well as he is and knowing you've got the guy in a real pickle.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it is. Bounced foul past third. And Pedro will see another pitch.
I'm sure Terry Pendleton has reminded Joey Turdoslavich at least 10 times since he got over there that his run doesn't mean anything. And not to take any unnecessary chances. It was an at-bat somewhat like this in the 2nd inning when Turdoslavich doubled in 1 run with 2 outs, and then Siriaco fought off a fastball and plated 2 more.
Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Good cut, fouled straight back. Michael Bourne waits on deck. Cameron Maben hopes to follow him.
Another great competitive at bat. Wish he had hacked away on that 2-1 fastball down the middle, but he's made up for it here, fighting off some tough pitches.
Struck him out. Pedro put up a fight, but Boxberger earns the 10th strikeout of the game for the Rays staff tonight. And Michael Bourne is the final hope for Atlanta.
I think that was his best fastball of the inning, 94.
Well, if anybody deserves some luck, here's your guy. He's lined out, popped out, grounded out, and struck out. Lifetime, Michael Bourne 0 for 3 against Boxberger. Popped up. Shallow right. And that's your ball game. The Rays stun the Braves with a 6-run 7th. And their magical ride continues. Tampa Bay now 2 games above 500. And they are going to gain some ground in both playoff races tonight. Baltimore lost. The Yankees lost. The Angels are losing tonight. And all of a sudden, the Tampa Bay Rays could be as little as a game and a half out of the second wild card in the AL playoff race. 9-6 Rays win tonight. They sweep the 2-game series, and we're back to St. Pete after this.